You might say, I'm not so sure about that. I really like this place. So you're not being super confrontational. You're saying, that's your opinion, but I'm not so sure about that. I have a different opinion. Or maybe your friend says, it's definitely going to rain today. You might say, I'm not so sure about that. I just checked the weather. So you're kind of disagreeing with them without being like, you're wrong. It's a soft, polite disagreement. I'm not so sure about that. Another phrase that's pretty similar to this one, but you're saying that someone is exaggerating or, embellishing whatever they're saying is you say, I wouldn't go that far. I wouldn't go that far.
I wouldn't go that far.
So it's kind of pushing back on someone's point or idea, but not arguing directly. Again, you're not saying like, oh, you're totally wrong or you're being dramatic. You're saying, oh, I wouldn't go that far. Maybe you see a movie with your friend and they say, that was the greatest movie I've ever seen. You might say, well, I wouldn't go that far, but it was pretty good. Meaning like, that's kind of dramatic. It's definitely not the greatest movie, but it's pretty good. Maybe your friend says, I have the worst boss in the world. You might say, well, I wouldn't go that far. It doesn't sound like they're too bad. So it's kind of, responding to someone's criticism or something that they say that's kind of extreme by saying, I disagree. You need to kind of check reality here. When you want to kind of disagree with someone because you're kind of thinking about both sides of the argument or both, perspectives, you can say to be fair, to be fair.
To be fair.
It's showing that you're kind of balanced and you're not being too harsh. Maybe someone says, oh, they're always late. They're even late today. You might say, well, to be fair, traffic is really bad today. Meaning, I'm not blaming them just as a person. Like there are other factors as to why they could be late, especially today. To be fair. As someone who used to work as a waitress, if someone's criticizing the service at a restaurant, I'm always like, to be fair, it's a really hard job. So I'm kind of weighing out the other perspective. I'm saying, don't be so harsh. We're going to talk about making decisions now. One of the most common phrases that I use when I'm trying to be agreeable and let the other person decide is, it's up to you. It's up to you.
It's up to you.
Someone might say, do you want Chinese food or do you want to get pizza? You might say, it's up to you. That means you decide. It's your decision. You might be explaining a process to someone, and during that process, you might say, and then it's up to you which one you want. So you're saying this to mean that it's their decision, and it's the most natural way to say this. A really natural way to say that you agree with someone's plan is to say, that works for me.
See, that works for me.
Or if they make a suggestion, you might say, that works for me, instead of saying yes, or saying, I agree, that works. That works for me. This is a really friendly way to confirm plans and just to be agreeable and to go along with what they want to do. Someone might say, let's meet at 6 p.m. You'll say, that works for me. Sometimes if someone